Hi, I'm Andrew.
I'm Hammond.
And I'm Rose.
And we're three of the Kiwi interns that have been sent here to the NASA Ames Research Centre as part of the International Internship program. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about the projects that we're working on and some of the first impressions that we've been having since arriving here at NASA Ames about 3 weeks ago.
Something I'm doing may end up on another planet someday, which is awesome. So what I'm doing is, at the moment, optimizing various quantitative techniques of stripping voltammetry, which is when you load a whole lot of metal onto an electrode and strip it all off the electrode very quickly and look at what the current does. There's some indication from hydrothermal vent chemistry and various other areas of the solar system suggesting that some trace metals may be indicators that there is life or the potential for life. Things like iron are really important in the sort of chemical energy cycle of methanogenic organisms that show up on the black smokers at the bottom of the sea. So it's a lot of look at things that happen in weird places on Earth and see if we can find the potential to replicate that environment elsewhere. And so I'm spending a lot of time dunking electrodes in and out of beakers and watching the trace to see what they do.
So I'm working under the supervision of Dr. Kelly Hashimi, and I'm working on the sensor placement for a novel flexible wing design for aircraft. And so essentially I'm looking at how you can place the sensors on there to figure out how the wing is moving. So as kind of like aircraft are becoming lighter, so they're being designed lighter to kind of decrease fuel consumption, the wings are becoming a lot more elastic. And so this can be quite detrimental if you can't control for it. And so, I'm looking at the sensor placement to kind of estimate how the wings are moving, and I'll probably move on to looking at some of the controls, so how you can control the wing in order to do what we want it to do.
Is it going to be practical for commercial airlines to use, or is this mostly fighter jets that we're talking about here?
I think it largely will be commercial airlines. I mean, it's currently just like a novel wing design and research for that, but I think I see it being used for commercial aircraft. So, what about you, Hammond? What's your project on?
So my project is under the supervision of Dr. Michael Furlong, and it's in the area of what they call tensegrity robotics. So they have what's called a tensegrity robot. And what that is a robot it looks very strange. They're designed to mimic the way that biological organisms move around. So I move around, I've got bones and I've got muscles connected to bones. I don't have motors that spin. With the way with a tensegrity robot works is they try to emulate that with spine joints, so they're fixed joints, just like our bones are fixed, and then they're connected together by strings which are actuated, or springs which are actuated. And using that, just like how my muscles can move my arm up and down, the tightening and loosening of these string muscles within the robot can move that robot around. So they've got a number of tensegrity robots they've built here as prototypes. There's some that look like snakes, and there's some that look very strange altogether. But the design that they're really focused on now is called Superball, which has got 6 bones, and it is a ball structure that rolls around. My part within that project is looking at how we can get the muscles, if you were, of the robot to achieve certain gaits. So when I want to walk as a person, I can just think about walking over there, and kind of my body does it semi-automatically. They want that sort of behavior on the robot as well, where the control unit for the robot can say, hey robot, go over there, and the robot's muscles, if you were, already have this idea of the pattern they're going to need to execute in order to move the robot from where it is at point A to where it wants to be at point B.
So basically it's a marionette that rolls along the ground.
It's a good way of looking at it. It is a marionette that rolls along the ground. So they want to put these robots maybe on Mars, maybe on the Moon, basically anywhere where there's harsh environments, with the idea being that, hey, they can navigate sort of unexpected terrains. They're not going to be stopped by a little ledge. And also they can be a bit more resilient when it comes to the damage and wear and tear that these designs take.
Mm-hmm. I think first impressions are really good. I mean, California is an amazing place to live, and I don't think it's rained a day since we've been here, so that's been pretty awesome. Otherwise, I think initially struck by, as we talked about, how old it seems, but following that, incredibly impressed about the nature of the research that they do, and as you're kind of saying, like how cutting edge the research is and kind of how new it is. So although externally it might not look that fancy, inside they've got a lot of amazing projects going on. So we visited the vertical motion simulator, right, which is like incredibly large. I think it's the largest vertical motion simulator. It can kind of go up, move up and down 10 stories. And so they were initially testing the space shuttle landing. They were training astronauts to land the space shuttle on that. And now they're kind of using it for air taxis. So the likes of Uber, who are developing like air taxi systems, are kind of working with that. So it's just interesting to see like how a lot of the hardware that they've got in their facilities is kind of being applied for these newer kind of applications. So to conclude, we're all making really good progress on our project so far, and I think we're all kind of really enjoying everything. So we'll check back in a couple of weeks and keep you updated.
Thanks for listening, guys.